saying, whatever happened. But here we are. So let me let you run the show. First of all, firstly, it's nice to meet you, Josh.
It's great to meet you again. Actually, I got to talk to you about 9 years ago when you were playing in Minneapolis. Was the first time I got to talk to you at I forgot the name of the hotel, but where you stay at in Minneapolis. We got to have a conversation early in the morning, and one of the best experiences and interviews I've gotten to have, and it's great to be able to catch up after all this time and seeing all the
Wow.
accomplishments that you've been able to do with Dream Theater, just seeing the band constantly grow, seeing more of your style incorporating more and more, and of course, starting 2 weeks from today, being able to start a brand new North American tour.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. I mean, we're all looking forward to it. In fact, I looked at my calendar more than a couple times, like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's. But we just got back from Asia, and uh, being on tour has a time dilation effect where it's like sort of an astronaut going at the speed of light and coming back, and it's like 460 years later if he's gone like however many light years and back. It's like, well, what happened? You go on tour, and it's like, and it's funny you get that sensation because you're moving at that speed, and the days just go bang, 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 bang. So yeah, so now it's time to go, almost time to go, and I'm looking forward to it because the camaraderie that is on my mind as like the key word for this tour comes from my experience with G3s. Now, speaking to you, you said 9 years ago, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so 9 years ago. Still, that is a number of years, like in like decade material, beyond the G3 tours that I did. With when I was with Steve Vai, that I just couldn't believe the brilliance like of Joe Satriani putting that together because I had not experienced just total excitement from band to band, crew to crew, band guy to crew guy, this band guy hanging out with this crew. It was something I knew I would remember going, this is the way to do it. This is really cool. And that's exactly what's happening with this Dream Sonic thing. And that's one of the most important aspects of it is so people feel that.
Oh, very much so. And along with that, I love the variety of this tour as well too, because it's like Animals as Leaders doesn't sound like Devin Townsend, doesn't sound like Dream Theater. It makes for a very exciting night, and no matter the style of prog that you enjoy, you're gonna find something to enjoy if you make it out to one of these shows.
Yeah, and that's for me. For me, this is the kind of show I want to see because of the diversity of sound. There's of course the style, but it's the sonic thing that a human brain can only really focus so much on one particular sound. Now, concerts that with one band that are longer, there are ways to vary it within that one band, of course. But this is a no-brainer guarantee because you've got three different bands with the same heart, a different take artistically on this. But when I say the same heart, I'm talking like I'm already communicating with some of the guys in the other bands, like, oh, it's gonna be great, fun. It's all fun.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, oh,
So
yeah.
thinking about that as well too. I mean, of course, like there's so many preparations that go into touring, and of course, you've been touring behind the latest album, which it's great to see like the great reception that it's received, and especially as far as like the set lists go and everything. I love the fact that you're incorporating so much of the new album while still being able to go back and play stuff from the classics. Like, how is that for you? Like, since it's been like 9 years since I've talked to you, how are you feeling about like when it comes to like the set list and picking out the songs that are going to be a part of it?
Well, I feel connected to the audience. In fact, their perspective. If you give me a second to explain that, what I mean is that when we went through the U.S., we played different songs off the new album. So when we except one, I think. So the interesting thing about that is initially putting together set lists, and Petrucci's been doing that, and then people chime in and have ideas, and then we try to make it work with the time. And he's concerned. Well, that key signature, I need this guitar, and because I don't think about those things. I do set lists. I used to do them in the bands I was in. It's the first time I've never done it for the band. I have a different set of protocols. I don't think about my tuning because I just go doink. So, but I'm sensitive to it anyway. So we're playing some different tunes that people in the U.S. did not get to see us play last time, and I'll tell you something. This is like one of those times you really don't want YouTube to exist. It just utterly corrupts the feeling of, I mean, most people know that, but then see something on that medium and then all of a sudden think that's reality and comment like it's reality. It's like, oh my gosh, you gotta like step out, step away. I know, there's nothing like it in person. It sounds totally different because the way the sound is captured, you're never going to get it captured properly and then converted or whatever to that medium's protocols, and then spit out in a way that reflects what actually happened. So, whatever. I mean, so we're playing some different tunes, and we went back to 6 degrees. So this is interesting. You're asking me what my view is. It's cool to spend time in these different eras of the band because I'm not just playing the songs. I'm not just I don't just learn them and then play them. Like, okay, that's song number 8. Go. Whee! And I just play it. It's more for me the way that I would learn music. I I just absorbed myself with a bunch of different drummers, which can, transition to a completely different discussion right now, right? But without going there, I had to, I had to get a sense of somebody's whole thing before I was like, okay, that's what this person is and does. So this is an opportunity for me, to go into Mike Portnoy's legacy with the band and spend some time going yeah, okay, it's like it's a fun ride. So I get a lot of joy out of that because I'm used to doing that. That's what I do. And I go back and go spend some time with whatever drummer it is. So that's interesting for me. Only picking to get to the Petrucci thing, only picking certain songs off any new record, such as to leave other songs to go back in case we go back to different places and we reinsert those. But I got to tell you, this is an interesting aspect of what this band has morphed into, where you would think that playing the same songs would lead to like a fork in the road. And if you took a left at that fork, it would be like, well, I'm kind of sick of that. I want to mix it up or whatever. It's like, okay, I understand that. But this group of people, we take a right at the fork and we have this intense joy from the challenge of trying to do it one better. Try to do it one better. And we get so, and I say inside the music, I'm talking like picture a ruler, okay? And if you take a picture of the ruler literally, but blow it up, you can expand it so that a millimeter is like this big, right? Theoretically, I mean, actually, really, you can do that. But even in theory, we get so much more inside that it becomes an intense state of mind. I don't know how to describe this, but I want to share it because it's shared with the other bands. The other bands want to go out and play well. I mean, it's like we could be, we could have us three guys. Let's forget music. let's say we were having a big dart competition or a bowling competition or not in any competition at all, but we're just throwing different frisbees and lids. Like we actually all want to do a good job. We want to just do it better. And well, how are you throwing it? How do you get it to land like that? We're just we're certain birds. We're just certain birds. That's all there is to it. There's a certain type. So that camaraderie, it's very deep. And for Dream Theater in particular, with our set list and with our show, see, that's the thing, and it might not be obvious. So that's why I want to talk about it, because you see it on our faces, you feel it, and we are just intense about it. It's not, oh, okay, we're gonna play the song again, like whatever. No way. No, it's like, well, wait a minute. Did I really play the best thing, the right thing? Did I? Let me go back to the album. Am I going too far from the original? Should I? Should I not? It's this intense experience full of joy because you just want to. I don't know. There's a calling. There's a calling to just do the best you can. That's all I have to say. You just want to live life and do the best you can. That's really what the calling is. It's as simple as that. That's a long answer, but you did ask me. It's like it's like the way I used to be a little fearful of improvising before I turned it into a science, which I did with my grid material, and the thankfully the drum community and magazines gave it a couple of very special awards that mean a lot to me because it means that I tapped into something that would help someone who has trouble with something, that I would help that beginner who's scared out of their mind. To me, who used to get panic attacks and my hands would curl up because I was so scared to play in front of people, even from a very, very young age. So anyway, point being, the excitement. My improvisation view is the same as my view when I'm going out to play a show. I'm looking at it analytically and saying, okay, wow, look at all this cool stuff that I can enjoy. And that's why we enjoy our show the way that it is. We'll change it up, but we are like, let's go. Let's go do one better. And you got to have that mentality. Otherwise, you wouldn't have sports teams that continue to win and pull it off at the end if you didn't have that mentality.
Exactly, and that's all the more reason to go because I love hearing that from you, and I imagine everyone else in the band as well too. Just that idea of like play the song the best that you possibly can, play these songs the best that you can, play this set the best you possibly can, play your instruments, sing the best that you possibly can, because you want to be able to go out and play the best show that you can to keep people coming back, to keep enjoying the music and keep wanting to push yourself. And I imagine when the time comes for the next record as well too, you want to be able to keep pushing yourself to make the best music possible, so you got to keep doing that on stage as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's what we do when we record. We push it, and then we know, all right, I gotta like dig in a little bit to learn this, such that when I perform it, that I can't just play it, but that I can't mess it up. And that's not possible, really, but that's the mentality. I got to learn this enough that I can't mess it up, which means that you now have that little bit of a leeway because you end up just, I don't know, your mind gets popped, like digitally skipped during a show for the most odd reasons. I mean, I could look at something in the audience, I could look at a sports banner hanging, I could just see something that takes me somewhere else for a moment. That's human. And they go, oh. Or, how about this? Because when our band leaves the stage, we talk. And all we talk about, the two notes, was that you? Was that me? Did you do that? Did I do that? Or one of us is like, I'm like, I remember the hit. The show was over. I remember the snare drum hit where I just was like, whatever, and I whacked my leg instead. And it's like nobody. We're so professional. You'll never see us call each other out. You'll never see us give each other a look. You'll never see any of us turn like, what was that? Well, just not what this band's about. But everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. So like a section later, let's say it was me, so I whacked my leg instead of the syndrome. Petrucci, eventually we'll wait, and then he'll turn around and kind of go, or I'll wait till he turns around because he clanked something, and he'll look at me, and I'll be playing, and I'll go like, just so that that you have each other's support, but that we're human and that it happens. So we're into it. I could just talk on and on and on, but it's a great experience.
And I love hearing that so much. I mean, the fact that it's been going for so long and you're able to enjoy each other's company that way. Like, yeah, after the show, you can call each other out on a particular note or a hit or something like that. But, it's just like when it's on stage, you're as professional as possible. You obviously having fun while doing it, but just trying to make the best show possible and not
Yeah.
letting those problems just get in the way of the show. And that takes a lot of professionalism and it takes a lot of time to be able to learn to do that.
Oh, it does. There's a whole protocol that I know that I analyzed before I took the stage the first time with this band. But we don't like the terminology, like we don't call each other out. I know what you mean though. We just will mention if we really don't know, like, was that me? Was that not? Oh, okay. But we've never left the stage and gone like, hey, so and so. I heard that. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. It's always us to go, oh, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Or like, I'm like, did you hear when I missed that? It's like, yeah, 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 I heard it. And then my knuckles, like, look at this knuckles. I've split it open so many times, like, ow! Then I'll miss the next hit or just forget. Sometimes it's like it happens. Like, is this the third chorus or the second one? And I'm going into 15, 16, and the video's gonna go out of sync if I miss this. And then and then I make a guess and like, okay, I got it, or or I recognize something. But there's a lot of fun. You talk about professionalism. We don't. It's a mature group of people, and we've really learned how to bring out everybody's sense of humor when we hang out. Everyone has a different kind of sense of humor. Um, I always like trying to crack up John Mayung on stage because it's like trying to fit a camel through the eye of a needle sometimes. But he's like intense. He does his thing. But I have found these moments and certain faces I can make that make him go. It's just between him and I. Like no one's gonna see it. And he won't let anyone see it. Or something will happen, and whatever it is, I really I love trying to like crack that eggshell. He's like it is a zone, and it's a lot of fun for me to do it. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot of fun. People are gonna sense it. The other guys in the other bands are the same. I can't wait. Mike Keneally and I are already talking. It's been a while since we were on tour together. We did experience the G3 when Petrucci was with Satriani, and we experienced the very first one, Mike and I. We go way back, and it's all joy. It is absolutely unbelievable. What else? Yeah, I can't wait to pal around with Matt and Darby. It's just Animals as Leaders has been with us uh, before, and just watching because Matt was at Berkeley when I was teaching there, and so just seeing him because I know where his mind was when he was at the school. He studied with me for a semester, but it was more like he came to me with very specific things. I didn't have to teach him. I mean, well, I'm going to teach you drums. Hold this. It wasn't like that. It's more like he's like, I got the blah blah blah. I remember right now. Oh my gosh, I could see him in my studio, and I had the. This is like how my memory is. I'll forget something. It's in the refrigerator, right? But it's like I'm seeing the mini snare that I had. Blah, 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 blah. I can see Matt across from me. Oh my gosh, I can remember questions he was asking. Holy moly! Anyway, so that's. I mean, I'm into it. I was into it back then. So to see him, he came to me like, what about this? Okay, try that. What about this? How's this help you? Whatever. To see him have a focus and then realize that focus is pretty extraordinary for me. I'm so proud of him for that. From all the people that he went to, did his own thing and was like, I'm going to do this. So that's awesome.
So
Awesome.
thinking about that a little bit further, like how do you feel about Matt's progression over the years? Like from when you first started teaching him to say the latest Animals as Leaders album, like how do you feel about his progression in musicianship?
I feel as though it is a great example of somebody putting a lot of hours and working very hard based on something that was calling them. Based on its, you know, if I took a big old school magnet, a big heavy magnet right now, and a couple of paper clips, and the paper clips went right to the magnet, you're not going to have a problem understanding. You're not going to see that and go, whoa, whoa, what was that? How did that happen? Like, but they just flew through the air. Like, well, yeah, we can understand electromagnetism and get a good take on it and go, okay, I get that, right? But when it's a calling, what is that made out of? It's an attraction. It's made out of something. Where does it exist? This is what put me into the whole physics level and the other dimensions beyond these four, and like that's where it must be, and in between, all that fun stuff, right? But whatever, save that for another day. He did something with that calling, felt an attraction to it, but he did something about it. And the little bit that I was in his life, again, very little. It's just like I'm telling you, it's just like one semester we worked on some stuff, and I have, of course, did what I do, and seeing him, okay, well, I got that, I got this, and I'll take that and put it in, and put it into this thing, and then realize it, how I feel about it. Like I said, I'm extremely proud of him, and I think that that's a great example for people to look to, you know, put your heart in it and pick something and just go for it, work at it. But you gotta, if you're gonna connect to an environment you want to exist in, you cannot do that without people. So somehow he recognized, oh, who I did, who am I going to work with, who am I not going to work with, who am I going to talk to, ba 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 ba, bang, there he is, and here we are together.
Oh, it's incredible the way life works like that, and it's just so cool to see that reunion. Like being able to catch up after all this time, but again being able to do it a couple weeks from now, and
Yeah.
of course Darby's an amazing drummer as well too. Like I would
Oh,
love to be a fly on the wall during one of the shows, just seeing the three of you talk about the show that night or talking about drums or whatever, because I feel like it would just be such a great conversation to be able to hear.
it is. It will be, and it has been in the past because we're, again, we're of the same breed. You want to pick up whatever you can to help you realize your own uh, uh, goals and your objectives along the way. And you do that. I mean, when Darby was on tour with us in Europe, uh, the more that, once the tour unfolded, because I hadn't met him, the more we're hanging out, eating together, laughing at the same things, you figuring out likes, what's the common ground, and then you morph the conversations based on that as well. So yeah, you'd be a fly on the wall because we're going to be talking about. I mean, I've got a new piece of gear, or maybe they're using something, and it's like, oh, what do you make of that? Like, I want to know about it. Save me some time. Or I watched Darby play, and he did a few certain things, and I'm like, all right, let's. What are you doing there? It's just what you're thinking. How do you feel about this part? What's happening in your body? And I know Matt's taken things that I don't do to a whole nother level, and I will probably notice exactly what those things are now. I will yap. I'm like, all right, let's flip roles here. What do you got for me? What are you thinking there? What are you feeling here and there, and the whole bit? It's going to be great.
Oh, totally. And I'm glad you brought up, just like talking about gear, because that's one thing I want to be able to talk to you because no matter the band that you've been a part of, a guest spot, full on band, Dream Theater, I love your setups every time that you're able to come up with something different. I love looking at how you place the cymbals, where you place the drums, how everything's coming together. And the fact that you scaled back on this touring cycle, and it's obviously not as huge as that gorgeous kit that you got behind you, to my left, which I can't
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
staring at. I just love looking at that thing. But
Oh,
just I love the fact that you're able to scale back and still sound like you. It still sounds like Dream Theater. You're still able to accomplish all of that with a smaller kid. How is that for you now? Like this many shows in.
It is cool because it forced me to think about and prioritize what my purpose was. For example, let me talk about two separate things. One of them is the larger kit, the symbols, like the. So there I was constructing it, thinking, well, I need to get the symbols away from the tom mics. There's just too much leakage, and I want to get way more attack when I'm adding maybe like 4 decibels of 4K to my cymbals and a couple dB of like 8K or whatever it is. Those are just, for someone who doesn't know that, they're just frequencies. It's like treble. So when I'm adding treble to the cymbals, to the tom toms to get the attack, if the cymbals like, like, oh, you got to be kidding me, right? Because it changed the sound of the cymbals, and I worked hard to pick the exact alloys I wanted. So because that's the sound, but then you do that to cymbals with equalization, and all of a sudden they might as well all be the same. They just go psst, if you can even hear them in a lot of mixes. It's like, why did I do all that work? What's the point? So it's debilitating to feel that too. But anyway, the whole thing is that I put them so that if my arms are like this, that's a whole heck of a lot more comfortable than extended, right? If your arms are extended, it's like an aerobics workout. It hurts. It hurts afterward. This doesn't hurt at all. So there I am. I put the cymbals. I'm like, wow, this is so easy. The sound is going to be more controllable. And it's like, hello world, look what I've done with this wonderful thing. And then I'm on literally the front page at least 3 times of a handful of online outlets and the subject of unbelievable ridicule, which is hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, people are venting what they really think. I'm like, yeah, go for it. I don't care if it's me that's the subject of this. I step away and I go, well, what's the issue? Oh, I get it. They don't like me. So they don't like the sim. Ah, I see how that works. All right, okay, that's okay. I don't like me very much sometimes either. Believe me, I don't blame those people. But bottom line is that it was a cool thing, and I did it for a reason. Going to the small kit, I said, well, what is the most important thing? How am I supposed to do this? I'm going to lose my symmetry. That's how I express myself. I'm going to lose the option to keep a beat and hit accents that go with imaginary vocal lines that haven't been written yet, and that go with the bass sometimes, the keyboard sometimes, and the guitar other times. How am I going to do this? It's like, well, what's important? I'm like, oh, I know what's important. I have to have the range, because if someone's, if they're tuning down to like O minus, when the keyboard, the bass, gong, it's rattling sheetrock. I'm not going to hit a little drum that sounds like a chihuahua barking. It's not appropriate. Musically, I need a tiny drum for higher hits and a big drum for big hits. With the fills that go, duka spats, get that, thoom. This is nothing sometimes more fun than a big gong drum. You go, boo. And if the PA system is, if the drum's in the mix enough and it's sounding right, oh, it's just the reaction. It's like somebody took acetylene and put it in a green garbage bag and put a toilet paper wick on it and lit it in a field, and then it blew up, and all the cars parked around for about 1,000 yards. The alarms went off. That's what that should be. That's what a gong drum should be when you hit it. Dennis Chambers and I was just doing a gig, and we talked about that fun and watching people. So I'm not going to hit a little tiny drum. So I was like, all right, well, I'll put the 6-inch drums, my mini snare, so I could turn it on and off. I'll tune it really high, and then I'll have the gong drum. So what am I going to put in the middle? Let me do the math. 12, 16, 20. Makes sense. 4 minus 4 minus 4. Okay. That's good enough for me. that works. So that was it. I prioritized it. I was able to get the range. And when I recorded A View from the Top of the World, I actually played as many things as I could, leading lefty and backwards, just because. It's like just because. I was like, I'll make it work musically, you know. I don't know, a little sick and twisted humor, a little rebellion on my part or whatever. Like, what do you mean I gotta play a small kit? It's like I'm thinking, I don't go to the other instruments. Well, you cannot play 88 keys. You need to play. You have to remove 11 keys. All right, you guys playing string instruments. I'm going to decide which string you should take away, and that's how you're going to do it. I don't do that to anybody. But we had it. That's not that that's what happened, but we had a space issue. Um, whatever. Whatever. We'll leave that as it is. But moving forward, I played backwards and I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a challenge, and I got into it. I got into it. That's really what counts and matters the most. Not so much I got to squeeze in this space. I'm like, oh, whatever. Anyway, does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's just like with your style, I love the fact that you can have so much fun with that, just like completely turning things upside down, just like sometimes it's going fills, leading it left-handed and going reverse, or being able to just switch up where the cymbals or the toms or the rocket toms are. It's just like you can mess with all of that and still be yourself. I mean, you have to like relearn where to put things and how it's going to sound, but once you get that dialed in, it's so much fun to be able to mess around with different setups like that.
It is. Oh, it's living. It's like I feel like I'm living. I could be uh, bowling with whoever, and we're not trying to make the pros or anything. You're giggling, you're having fun with people, and just for the heck of it, I'll throw a ball lefty to see what happens. It's like if you're on a team, like, no, 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 don't do that. It's like, no, I want to live a little bit. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean? So whatever, it's all fun. But this upcoming tour is going to be three bands full of people that are like this and that are zany. Devin is zany. He's fun. Keneally, same thing. Anyway, Darby, the whole bit. And I've spent time with Tosin at Petrucci's camps. He's a gem as well. He's got that look. He's got that look in his eye. That's it. He got the look.
Oh, totally. And yeah, I mean, that's what makes all this so exciting. And I'm so glad to see that a tour like this is able to happen. And, obviously with Dream Theater, I mean, you can do evening wish shows, you can do 90-minute shows, you can tour with two openers, you can tour by yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that it's so diverse and you're able to adapt to all these different kinds of situations really says a lot as well, too. And of course, having the huge catalog of back music, being able to accomplish that, being able to show off the latest album, being able to go
Yeah.
back and play the songs you want to play. It's just there's so much to look forward to, and I can't wait to see what the set list is going to be. That's got me very excited, and just everything that's going to be happening in the future, because it's just like with all the great touring that's happening and being able to promote such a great album like this, it's just like the future is going to be great. I can't wait.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be cool. And now that we're hitting the U.S. again, you will approach it, and we have approached it the same as doing Europe twice. It's like, well, all right, what's changing? Because we've got to change some tunes that this market hasn't seen. And you're like, YouTube wrecks that. It really wrecks. And it's like somebody can see it and go, oh, well, I can just watch it here or see it there. And it's like, you can, but but I'll give you a moment. Unless you're in that audience, let's say, here's an example. There's a moment in the finale of 6 Degrees, right? And at the end, I was learning it, and I was just like, oh, it's a big gong hit. And I remembered that anyways. Like this ending note lasts for like a year and a half. Okay, it's a Guy Bruges. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I've got the gongs. That's a lot to carry for one hit, and blah, blah, blah. The gears are already here. Okay, well, I have these fantastic rolling things. Plus, I know software, so I'm like, I just want to get a, great gong sound, and I'll just, I'll hit a cymbal and hit the gong at the same time with the pad, and it'll be fine. In fact, it will be great because then I don't have to worry about, sometimes the acoustic instrument, it's not that easy to get it to reflect what it actually sounds like if you had it mic'd in a studio, right? So anyway, so there's a moment that I do that, and we were we were rehearsing the song for the first time, I was like, I don't know. And we did it again. Then I heard this sound, this gong, it's like Jordan said, "You want a gong? I'm going to get you a gong." And he's the king. And I'm like, all right, I can't wait to, wait to hear this. Oh, it's just like I'm surprised that when that is striked by him, that there's the building standing afterwards. So, with good humor, I wonder if I have it? Yeah, I got to show you this. Hold on a second. You're
Oh,
gonna laugh.
absolutely.
You're gonna laugh. So, with all things humor, our sound man I noticed had a small gong at his soundboard. I'm like, "Can I use that, please?" He goes, "Yeah, sure." So we're just having fun with it. I'll take a mallet and I will strike one of these little mini gongs, and you hear this gigantic sound, and everyone in the audience knows what's going on. It's not trying to like fake it or anything. Like, what? Ugh, that wouldn't be fun. But I'm trying to make it into a comedic moment. So I'm winding up with a tiny, small little mallet, hitting this thing, and then Jordan is perfectly, of course, timing his hit with me. And you see this tiny little thing and hear this big, this giant noise come out. And it's just a moment where I'm turning around, and the smiles that I'm seeing, however many rows that I can see, because the lights are blinding, just that's why you're there. That's why it's worth it. You look at a show and someone might see that, on YouTube or whatever outlet, and just like it's not as fun. It's just like okay, whatever. No, no, it's you got to be there. You gotta. It's one of those things. Trust me, it's funny. You got to be there. But anyway, people know it, and when another human being is near you, and you feel what's going on with them. That's the beauty of a live show. In addition to the subwoofers, making things in your body move. So it's awesome. All right, we're
Uh,
back.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for that. I apologize. I had to cut that off. I didn't want to cut you off mid sentence or anything, so I just wanted to
That's
make sure that was cool. But yeah, getting into
Wait a
that,
minute.
I love the
So
fact that you cover that so much. That's so cool
oh,
with the gong and having Jordan a part of that. That's so cool.
yeah, it's just it's fun. It's just a way to have some fun. So people haven't been able to experience that in the United States, for example. So uh, I'm hoping to be able to bring that because these can fit in a suitcase, So we'll see.
Oh,
All right, so here we are. I know that um, potentially yapping about what's happening in the future is something, but in Dream Theater Land, we're an adaptable bunch. So we're just going to do this tour, and we will see what happens after the tour. But likely, because you know there is another album to do, to record, we'll consider that when we consider it. We'll see what unfolds. I literally don't know, and it's just how it is.
oh, yeah, and until then, have fun with this current tour, and it's
Oh
like
yeah,
being able to play these songs, enjoy each other's company, just have fun about the shows that you're doing from day to day. That's what matters at the current moments. And when
yeah,
a new album comes, whenever that happens, just let it come as it may. That's all that matters.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's all there is to it, you know. And we're all, we all have stuff going on outside of the band. I mean, I'll have a solo album coming out in August,
Oh,
and
I was not aware of that.
oh, really? Oh no, I there's a reason why it's been taking a while and has gone in steps. But no, I wrote everything. I'm the executive producer, engineer with our Dream Theater guy Jimmy T that knows my thing inside and out. Yeah, I just wrote the songs, wrote all the parts, wrote the lyrics, did everything. So and then found some wonderful people to replay my virtual instruments, and then most especially to re-sing my horrific vocal guides. So yeah, that's fun, and yeah, that's a big thing to look forward to. But also, I'm still into the Zoom classes and making more instructional material with the Vimeo, and I saying happy birthday to people at Cameo, or giving. I do these like advice tips on it. So I've got that going on, as well as you know plenty of things.
Oh,
So it's not like we're going to be sitting there that we finish the tour and we don't feel like whatever. We'll kind of know what we're going to do, and then we'll utilize this time personally to reset, to reinvigorate, and to get in the right space before we go back and record again. So, and it's, I mean, for example, the tour ends and 2 days later, I'll be with John Petrucci in Fort Lauderdale at his camp. So I literally don't even have enough time to properly empty a suitcase and then pack it again with things that might be a little different on that trip. So before I leave for this tour, I got to get a separate bag with certain things that I need for that and think about it ahead of time. So it's like never ending. It's awesome.
oh, totally. Eh, a couple more things I wanted to get to, especially with things that you brought up. But the first one that
Yeah.
comes to mind is like how do you shift your mind when it comes to those things? I mean, obviously, like you just mentioned, 2 days after the tour, you're going to be working with John Petrucci at his guitar camp. Like, or when you do a one-off appearance, like you did, I can't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago for
Nashville.
Pearl,
Yeah.
being able to do that. Like, how do you focus your mind and get into those moments when you're adapting those situations?
I focus it by removing emotion from it. Not about, oh, I'm psyched, I'm doing this. Not that kind of emotion. The kind of the emotion that happens when you feel overwhelmed or whatever. Just as anything that can throw you off doing the work you have to do. So the way I do that is I quite literally take all these things and get them out of my being. I put them on a piece of paper. So I'm constantly taking blank pieces of paper, and I have like a box of the Papermate pencils. You can just go through them and wee, or like spin the. Forgive my, sorry for my. I think I'm still in Austin Powers mode, too, for so something to cause that. So I got to snap into professional interview mode.
Well, that's
But
quite all right.
you know what I mean. But um, I write everything down. So in addition, when I say write everything down, the first thing is a block calendar, and then I extract what each module of that calendar is, and then I put into blocks what my priorities, what my tasks are, what the needs are, and I do look at where those fit into the big picture of my whole career. But that's the emotion is earlier on. It's like, oh, I like, I don't like, I want, I don't want. Then I take a look at it and go, is this good or is it not good? Is it the right thing? Is it not the right thing? And get objective about it. So that's how I do it and write it all down. So if you want specifics, so I had the Pearl event. I haven't done a drum solo. I can't. I don't know. If you said it was, I know it was 7 years. Like, okay. If you said it was, no, you did one 4 years ago. Like, well, I don't remember where. Was it at a party somewhere? And I don't remember it. I'm like, what did I do? I have no clue. Uh, yeah, they kind of got ejected from the Dream Theater show. So I haven't done one, and that's the band I'm with. So I don't do drum solos. And the drum clinics have, been incinerated around the planet for the most part. So I don't do any drum solos. It's like, wow, that's a drag. But I had to construct one. Like, okay, what are some of my favorite things I would like to play, and what's the objective? The objective is I have to make it's about my displaying a new line of drums. So I was like, well, what am I going to play that's going to do that? So you get what I'm saying? I see it.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, this is my job. I have to make these drums sound great. So I'm going to engineer something logically that makes sense with that. And okay, I got to play with Corey Wong, so it's like okay, I can't wait to do this because I never get asked to play that music, and I grew up on it. My sister gave me album after album to learn of, and her contribution was it was all Motown dance like that. And my brother gave me high powered jazz, Maynard Ferguson, Buddy Rich, all those things. Chicago, more popular music, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And on my own, I discovered the band Boston, and that just jettisoned me into rock, right? But anyway, point being, that's in my childhood. It's in me. It's part of what I do. So I was so excited that I just looked at when is the date, what kind of time do I have to learn the songs, what kind of time do I have to sit on a drum set and actually play it. It's not happening in Asia. Not happening on tour with Dream Theater. No, I'm not practicing at all. So and I looked at my methods and I did what I had to do so that when I got off that tour, it was like, okay, you got X amount of days. You're not going golfing. You're getting on the drum set, and you're going to take these charts and things, and you're going to learn this song, and you're going to go over this, and this is what you're going to do. And then, of course, I had two massive plumbing accidents in the studio facility, separate, unrelated, in the same week. Are you kidding me? What are the chances of that? Has never happened before. It happened within the same week, separate things. One side was taken out, and then the other side was taken out. I've got that's a whole nother story. It's not been fun. Anyway, that's what I do. I write it down. I look at it. What needs to be done. I'm doing it now. I mean, what has to be done? Well, I have to remove a bunch of computers and other things. I got to get them the heck out of that room now. And I have tons of stuff. Where is it going to go? That's my priority. Like, oops, well, I'll go over the Petrucci songs on Wednesday. It's like I put it all out, and I'm thankful I put some time, so it's not going to be that long. But whatever. I mean, you asked, but it's dangerous to ask me certain questions because I have like a computer drop down menu of answers shows up, and I just go, "Wow, check it out." Yeah,
I, I
little
I
crazy.
do love that though. I love getting your insight into it. I mean, no matter how detailed you get into it, I love hearing your thoughts going into it. And with that, obviously with a Pearl showcase like that, like how were those drums? Like, what do you think of those new
Oh my
drums?
gosh! Oh my God! Two things. The drums are always meticulously manufactured, so they're going to do anything and everything a round cylinder of wood is supposed to do with this kind of objective to go boom, right? Beyond that, it's the mounting system. They changed the mounting system. It makes the middle rack toms have the same tone as the deep floor toms. I've never experienced it. That's the whole thing with engineering. You can't get these things to actually sound like they're one without manipulation, without someone that knows what they're doing. I've spent decades learning that, so I know what has to be done. I know exactly. You tell me, give me the knobs, put me behind the desk. I'll get the drums to sound the way they're supposed to sound because I'm a drummer. So I know this stuff, and I get in there and do it. And yes, sometimes it's like, oh, well, that's not so easy to do. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. Hey, Jimmy T, what do you think? Or Rich Chicky, who used to work with us, used to call him, hey, Rich, I got an issue here. It's like, yes, you do. So anyway, where was I going? Yeah, the mounting system is incredible. It makes the set one cohesive sound, and the other thing is that they have new pedals, Demon XR, Extreme Response. I've never had a tool in my life that has done this. Never. It is the single most important tool I have ever come across that connects me to the instrument. I mean, of course, I have my signature sticks, but I've had drumsticks before. Not like the Wicked Piston. They're designed backwards, so there's nothing like them. They're unique. That's not the point. The point is, okay, now that, well, there it is the point, because they're doing something that was never been done before. These pedals are doing something that's never been done. It's taking first of all, I can play faster on them, but the velocity is more. And I've always had to change settings on a pedal for either speed or for more normal playing. And so since I play more normal things, I am not a speed drummer, believe it or not, especially today. I don't know, I can't set the pedal like that. I can't stuff the kick or whatever's done to the kick drum so it doesn't move so much and you can play faster and the throw, the this, the that, the spring. It's like a whole rigmarole. You might as well, it's a whole different thing. I can't set up like that. I can't do that. I don't play that music. But this pedal, yeah, it's allowing me to achieve some things I was not quite able to do the way I want with the other ones. Although now you can go back and try to set pedals a certain way, but this one has made lighter and the springs are different, so you're not going to duplicate that. No way. Anyway, so that was awesome. A lot of fun, and of course, playing with Corey Wong's band, the Wong Notes was a gas. It was a gas. I just can't describe it any other way. I still have to find a recording of Ketosis, the high-powered song that I did, because I found a recording of the other one, but I gotta find one of this particular song. I want to put it out there.
Oh, yeah, like, early this morning, I saw an interview that you did, during then, and I got to see a little bit of that, setup in action and a little bit of you playing, and
Right.
you just look like you were having so much fun doing that too. I mean, obviously,
I
it's
did.
it's a pressure situation. You wanna be able to show off the product, right? You're playing music that you're not playing every night like you do in Dream Theater, but I could tell you were having so much fun with that, and that's just so great to see.
Yeah, I was having fun for all the reasons I said. I don't get those calls. And it's like a person could sit back and go, well, why not? Why? Not only can I do it, but I like it, which means that the incentive is there to do it well and to be able to take instruction if I'm not doing it well. So my heart is in it. So my heart was totally in that. I loved every second of it. I just couldn't, I didn't want to get off the stage. I wanted to play another one of their songs. That's how much fun it was. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome, and it's so great to hear about the new Pearl equipment that's coming out too. I mean, especially those new demon drives, like, that's got me very interested about, like, getting a pair for myself, be it two singles or a double pedal. Because I mean, if you're able to hit those notes without needing a trigger, if you don't need it without doing all the bass drum manipulation, you're able to get the notes the way that you want them to sound just by hitting them. That sounds like an instant sell to me.
It is. I mean, you have to watch George Colius talk about these because it's he's the he's Oz behind the curtain. You pull out the curtain of Oz, and there's George. Hi, it's me. Um, and good because he's a drummer that lives in that zone and he knows what's needed. Has made suggestions and changes someone like me couldn't come up with because I don't have that. I can't A B it. Anyway, so yeah, that's what it is, and you have to see him talk about it. Never mind the fact that he can.
So,
Wow. All right. Inspirational.
oh, definitely. Well, you heard it here first. New Dream Theater album will have Nile inspired drums. Because you're able to play that stuff. No, no,
Yeah.
seriously,
No.
no, seriously. But no, it's
You
so
know.
cool that you're able to find a pedal that you're able to do more stuff with, and you're able to, like, get the notes that you're looking for. That's great to hear.
Well, why not? It's expression. Why be limited if you can choose make a very simple decision to not be limited? Like why? It's like going to a vending machine and you have $1 and you put the dollar in the vending machine and either you get $1 spit back out, you get 50 cents spit back out, or you get $14.35 spit back out. I I'll take the I'll take the increase. I'll take it. Why not? It's for the same price. Why not? You gotta give it to me.
Oh, totally.
So
So,
there you go.
so
All right.
thinking about that, are you currently using them right now on tour, or are you, like, going to be getting a pair later, or?
I have them.
Oh, you do? Oh, cool. I wasn't sure if you only got to experience them at the show or not. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got them.
And
Yeah,
I
it
imagine
was.
you're going to be getting a new kit with that new mounting system and the shells and everything next time
Well,
around. I mean, if you can get that.
yeah, and I'm sure all the my friends at Pearl that will see this interview will just hear me say, I'll take electric lime green, please. Here we go. All
Oh,
right.
love it.
So there you go. Are we good?
Awesome. Oh yeah, I was
Cool.
just about to wrap it up.
All right.
But yeah, thank you so very much for taking this time and the extra time as well too. Being I
Cool.
there was so much to cover, and I'm glad we got to cover so much. Like the one off with Pearl being able to talk about all the new stuff that's coming out there, the John Petrucci camp that's coming up, you're playing, of course, your solo album, which I can't wait to find out more about that and hear it myself. I'm not sure if you're doing press for that, but I'd love to be able to talk to you about that if you
Okay.
are doing press for that. And
I'm
of
going to.
course, oh, awesome. And of course, the brand new tour starting in 2 weeks with Devin Townsend and Animals as leaders playing throughout North America.
Yeah.
It's going to be such an incredible night every night. I can just feel it. I can't wait to see everything that comes from that. And yeah, from 9 years ago, from being someone who could barely talk to his idols to someone who I just had one of the best conversations I've ever had doing this for my 888th interview. I thank you so very much for taking the time to be able to talk to me about everything going on in your world right now.
You're welcome. You are totally welcome. And let's look forward to the tour and all the fun stuff. And if for whatever reason we happen to catch up, I'll clue you in on a fun discussion perhaps that Mike Keneally and I had about some kind of food we were eating. It just went
Ooh.
and became zany because that's the fun stuff that no one gets to see, but it affects the show, it affects everything, people getting along, you know it's really, really, really cool. And then of course, when it comes time for the press that is being organized for me, with that solo album called Invisible Signs. And yeah, there you go. So I'll talk to you again.
Well,
Hi,
well,
Josh. Thanks.
awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And any other time we could catch up again. Yeah, this has just been an amazing time being able to talk about everything. And I thank you so much for all this precious time. I know how busy it must be in your world right now. So I appreciate all this time. And until we talk again, I think one last time, I thank you very much for doing this. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.
You're welcome. You too. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you too. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.